15. And he gets it, and Pampling moves to 5 under par, and he joins Ernie El in 3rd place, but both of them are 6 shots behind second place to Laycock, who's about to hit his second shot to the 13th. That's where he is. Pineapple Head showing us just exactly what he's got to do. The pin, as I said today, he's on 22, 9 from the left. Appleby already up there with a birdie chance.
Now, this is a different proposition altogether here for Scotty, but gee, these guys are playing fantastic golf. He's got this branch in front of him here, just from these menacing trees in the middle of the fairway here. Trying to keep it underneath this branch. Done that. Got it on a pretty good line too. Would it release? Very good. Great shot again. This is an unbelievable tournament.
Well, the battle continues for the minor placing, that being 3rd place, and Ernie Els is one of those in the fight for that. A long birdie putt here. He's at 5 under.
Go.
Wonderful putt from where he was.
He'll stay tied with Pampling on 5 under. First prize this week, 270,000 Australian dollars. Second prize, 153,000.
No money for this man, but he could well be the leading amateur. James Nitties, this was his putt a few moments ago.
That's a birdie, so it gets him back on level terms. No, sorry, it wasn't a birdie. Of course, he came up short. It was his playing partner who stiffed it.
Pampling on the last of the par 3s.
Third most difficult hole of the week, this 16th.
Has hit some beautiful irons today, Rod. Pampling just coming up a little bit short, just catching the fringe on the right.
Pin today 28 paces on.
Now Jeff Ogilvy, who's had his problems again here, is to save par at 14. Remember, he was short and right. Oh, that's an excellent save, particularly in terms of what happened a couple of holes ago.
This is where the real action is this afternoon. It's at 13. Appleby in the light blue there. Scott Laycock will be first to putt.
Jack, is it a classic case of one drawing the other along?
I think so now, because they realise that they've beaten off all the opposition. It just really gets down to a 2-man war here. And I think they're both really enjoying it because they're both playing well. And as you quite rightly point out, as often is the case, you get 2 guys playing together and they get playing well, and the momentum carries from one back to the other. But some pretty high stakes at the moment, with just 5 holes to play for the Open Championship of this country. Uphill, a little bit of left to right borrow. No, went the other way. So the door slightly ajar for Stuart Appleby.
James Nitties on 16. He's at +4. And he's trying to get one back on Chris Campbell, who has finished his round, and he finished at 3 over.
Beautiful shot.
That is a terrific shot from James Nitties.
Meanwhile, back on 13, Appleby for a birdie to go to 13 under and take a 2-shot lead to the short 14th. Will, I wonder, his additional experience just count in the end?
Well, that was the only reason I thought at the start of the day that I probably fancied him. Although Scott Laycock has shown that his golf game has gone to a new level from the experience of getting into contention on a regular basis in Japan. It's a good feeling, and you carry those feelings with you when you get in a similar position. And as I said, the door ajar here for Appleby. Can he increase his lead to 2?
No, he can't. Played reasonably well in America this year, although he hasn't won. He was 14th in the putts per round statistics, averaging 28.41 putts a round.
It's a good call, Renton. I think most club golfers could learn something from that. If you really want to improve your game, the short game is the first place you should start to look, because most club golfers would be lucky if they averaged 33 putts. When you consider Stuart Appleby averaging 28 and a bit, that's 5 shots around, so that's where you can really improve your score. Appleby for par now at 13. Stays 1 in front of Laycock.
On 17, this is Adam Scott, who is a couple under for the day. Now that he's just missing that eagle attempt.
I get the feeling though, Sandy, he'll win one of these before he's much older.
Pampling, chance for outright 3rd spot.
Lovely touch.
$100,000 to the player who finishes in 3rd spot. And for our winner, $270,000. Will it be Appleby? Will it be Laycock? Appleby, our current leader of the Holden Australian Open. He's playing the 14th, par 3 here of 175 metres.
Has he got the right club in his hand? Well, there you go. See, that's what I was saying earlier. 6-iron for some of them is landing in the middle of the green and going through. 7-iron, not quite enough.
Ernie Els. This is for a birdie. Oh. And all of a sudden, Ernie has found the touch that has eluded him for so long. 3 birdies in the last 4 holes, 6 under par now. Ernie, 3rd place on his own, just ahead of Pampling.
Laycock.
This pin is placed in a very, very difficult position just over this left trap, and he's hitting 6-iron. He's got it going straight at it. Straight at it. This could be really good.
Well, that's about as good as we've seen, because as Lindsay pointed out, that pin hidden by the bunker, and a very firm, fast green.
Ahead to James Nitties, who's having this great struggle with Chris Campbell for amateur honours. Campbell back in the clubhouse after a 69 today and finishing at 3 over. Great week for him, but Nitties is doing just as well. He, at the moment, is 1 stroke back.
3rd shot at 17 for Peter Lonard. Oh, that might come back a bit. No, it's going to stop all right, but not a particularly good shot from Lonard. After his birdie at 16, he's on 4 under.
Jeff Ogilvy at this terrific par 3 16th.
It's 4-iron, Jack, for Ogilvy. Big shot on the back of the bit. Hang on, it's starting to feed back off this back of this bank. Look at this. What a shot. 4-iron to there.
Well, I'd say that's taking every advantage of the contours, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a wonderful sight, isn't it? The green in the foreground, vineyard in the background, and Stuart Appleby getting closer and closer to winning his first Holden Australian Open title.
Good shot from behind there. Just what he's got with this chip. It's no easy chip because the slope from left to right off the shoulder of the bunker. He's going to skirt this left edge of the green because it's going to break sharply to his right. Really requires some deft touch here. Probably play this with his sand wedge back at his stance. Shut the club face just a hair, and he'll pitch it on the green and try and chase it up to the cup.
Well, the door may just open a little for Scott Laycock.
Yeah, not a very good tee shot from Stuart Appleby. Put the cat amongst the pigeons now.
Peter Lonard has this putt to go to 5 under as he chases a minor placing that he misses.
Yeah, I'm often asked about the prize money, Sandy. Whatever the total is, first prize is usually 17.5%. And then it goes on down to 60th money. Everybody that plays over the last 2 days gets something. Except for the amateurs, of course.
Coming home, Adam Scott. Couple under for the day.
That's going to roll all the way back down. Because the first 3 days when it was firm and fast, that ball rolled back down into the rough. And it's still trickly.
It's not going to be far away from it again.
Now, there's an awkward shot from there. Looks flat on your screen, but there's a big swale there in front of that hole.
Here's a big putt, Jack.
No, this to get him probably a share of the lead.
Oh, yes!
Got it. Might even get him the lead.
Oh, Laycock
swing here
to 12 under. And back to you, Mr. Appleby.
I thought that was going to just hang on the edge and not drop, but it did. Well done, Scott Laycock. Appleby's got to hold his putt now to stay level at 12 under.
And of course, psychologically, Appleby knows he's thrown the house at him over the last 5 holes.
Well, Laycock's had 5 birdies in the last 6.
He just won't go away.
Appleby's had 4.
This is not an easy putt. 2.5 meters or so. Breaks from his left to right. Not the favourite putt of the professionals. They'd rather have the other one right to left where they can seemingly hit into the break. This break across your body. Quite often it's said that you should slightly open your stance so your arms can work down the line on left to right breaking putts. Just outside the left lip. Pretty quick.
With ease.
Tremendous stuff. Both Laycock and Appleby today have dropped only 1 shot. Laycock slipped up at the 8th, the short 8th. Appleby slipped up at the 7th. But what a putt there by Appleby. They stay tied now at 12 under, 4 to play.
A shortish par 4, but there's water on the left and traps all up the right. So the order of the day is position from the tee. Perhaps an iron at the left-hand side of the first right-hand bunker.
Yeah, this is the right strategy here now, Jack. There's 2 strategies, of course. Up the left with driver, but he's playing an iron and straight down the middle of the fairway, perfectly placed. These guys are just going shot for shot. Great golf.
Dare we say it, the playoff holes 10 and 18, should they be required?
I think you're chasing up a playoff then, San Diego.
It'd be a fitting finale at this stage, the way these two have gone about proceedings. Now, Appleby.
The thing is that Scotty Laycock now has got the honour off him.
Okay.
So it's quite a case of he's leading and dealing now.
No temptation to use the driver here, Jack. Just aim for that second of the traps that they can see up front, 222 metres away. And if we follow the script, it won't be too far away from where Scotty Laycock's ball's landed. They haven't been too far from each other all day. It's just been engrossing stuff, hasn't it?
Well, the galleries must have thoroughly enjoyed this, Pat, because of the quality of the golf.
Well, Jack, as I said, the park and ride, we're all a little bit worried about whether the galleries would take to that, but they have, and they've packed it out. There's big crowds out here now, and they're just loving us. We haven't seen an Australian Open up here for 28 years.
And he's safely on the dance floor for Stuart Appleby.
Brett Rumford is playing with Thomas Bjorn. Here he is on 17 with an eagle opportunity. So he's coming home with a wet sail, getting it to 3 under, and good to see these young players are the future of the game. Here's another one, Adam Scott, hoping to walk away with just minimal damage at 18, and he will. Look out for him next year. Final round 70 after 73, 70 and 71 to be even for the championship. Not everyone's going home at the moment. There it is. Look at that. Laycock and Appleby are going to fight it out right to the end, and we'll be with them.
Big South African is Scott Laycock trying to answer Stuart Appleby's fine second in here at 15 rather.
It's got a wedge going a little long though. Has to get down, back trap.
Oof. That is a mean trap shot he's left himself with, because not a lot of green there between his ball and the edge of the bunker. Rod Pampling playing his third shot.
Isn't it?
9 players have
Up the Poms overnight. 2-1 in the series. Now this is a very delicate shot, as you can see. Quite a bit of sand to go across, and then once it gets out of the bunker, it's almost like a slippery dip down to the hole. Can he get this to check? And of course, if he gets too cute with it, he could leave it in there. Big shot for Scott Laycock, remembering Appleby in there with about a 3-metre putt for a birdie. Oh, that's a wonderful shot. Got it coming down nice and soft.
Well, the Australian Golf Union would be proud to have either of the names of these two players on the Stonehaven Cup. Scott Laycock or Stuart Appleby, which one will it be? But they have produced today majestic golf. And given this championship, the first to be staged up in Queensland since 1973, a very fitting finale.
Just going to move a little bit to his right.
Jack, if they do need a playoff, it'll only be the 6th. We had one in 1948. Ossie Pickworth won then. 64, Jack Nicklaus. 72, Peter Thompson. And more recently, John Morse in 1990. And Lee Westwood beat Greg Norman at Metropolitan in 1997.
Have a look at the the side of Stuart's hat, he's got written on it, "She'll be apples." I wonder if it will be come the end of the day.
Just trying to feel the line and the speed. So this for a birdie, and this to take him back into the outright lead at the 15th. Started it straight at the cup, and he needed to start it outside the left edge. Interestingly enough, a bit of match play tactic getting in here. Stuart Appleby would normally mark that perhaps and walk away, but he's electing to putt out, get his fall, put the pressure back on Scott Laycock. He's got a putt of just over a metre for a par.
Does the hole start to get a little smaller, Jack?
Well, you're starting to get into the stage where the tension builds, and the whole issue becomes one of keeping yourself calm, deep breaths, keep the tension out of your hands. You don't want to start white-knuckling the club at this point in time. But he's got a very good temperament, this guy. Have seen Stuart Appleby's break to the right of the cup. This for par, this to keep him share of the lead.
No.
He gave the hole away. Well, uncharacteristic bogey for Scott Laycock. Stuart Appleby now the leader by 1.
Just the second shot that Laycock has dropped today. 3 holes to go. The 2 Victorians battle on.
Rod Pampling, meantime, has a birdie opportunity at 17, but misses to the left.
That's what Ernie's got. 125 left on a hole that is...
Jack, I can tell you, he's smashed that 352 off the tee, and just a pitching wedge, which believes to this par 5 17th hole, and a great opportunity to make 3.
Moving on to the 16th, par 3 of 186 metres, a hole that was lengthened slightly for this Open.
This is one of my favourite holes on the golf course. I think it's a terrific par 3, a bit like the 15th at Kingston Heath, or even a little bit like the 7th of the composite Royal Melbourne. You can see considerably uphill, big trap right in the front if you don't get enough elevation. And today it's averaging just over its par, but it's been this 3rd most difficult all week. Likes it. Now, will it roll back down the slope? Yes, it will. Look at that.
Well, he's just tightening the screws a little now.
Listen to the crowd, Sandy.
Scott Laycock.
4-iron, what a fantastic shot, and they're going crazy around the green here.
Not quite sure the shot was commensurate with the result, but as I've said many times before, Sandy, you don't have to write how, it's just how many that counts.
Wind picking up again, and it's getting very, very dark.
I hope you've got your umbrella for the presentation, Sandy. You'll need one.
Now 193 up here now, Scotty. just the way this tournament's unfolding, don't be surprised to see this one go pretty well straight at it. He's hit some fantastic iron shots this week. Started out to the right, drawing back, right end edge of the green. Not a bad result. Stay there now. Stay there. Not too bad.
The metre to the left, it would have been perfect.
But he's now playing once again catch-up golf as Appleby wrestles the lead back on his own. 3 to play. Appleby by 1. Earls is holding on to 3rd spot, but Pampling's on his hammer. Calling his caddy over. Pressure right on him at the moment as he trails by 1, playing 16. He trails Stuart Appleby. Bruce Critchley has rejoined us for a big finish, Bruce.
Well, it's been a big round of golf, I must say, from both players, and we've got 2 referees, Tim Gale and Michael Norton, both from Victoria, who are the referees. In the question mark whether he can tap something down or whether there's a pitch mark or can he remove it. I don't think it was growing. If it had been a piece of grass sticking up that was growing, he couldn't have touched that.
Might have been moving, I think. A beetle or a worm
Interestingly
stuck
enough,
there.
Jack, coming home over the 3 days so far, Appleby has played 16, 17 and 18 at a couple under, and at Laycock Square. That's for 16, 17 and 18.
Using the putter from just off the putting surface. Once it gets onto the green, it'll start swinging back to the right. Oh.
Woo.
It's had a rush of blood.
Well, it's one of those shots that maybe earlier in the week would have been played with a little lofted club, a little chip and run, but that was the right shot there. So another door opening. We'll go ahead to the 17th, and Ernie Els, who's finishing so well, bound to make a birdie, but can he get an eagle? He can, right in the middle, travelling a bit. 5 threes in a row, 5 under par for the last 4 holes.
On 18, Thomas Bjorn, who's been playing with Brett Rumford today. Trying to finish with a 3. Great effort. Wonderful effort from where he was, but that will be a round of 73, and he finishes 2 over for the championship.
17 pretty good holes there, Sandy, apart from a 9 at the 9th and 5 other double bogeys. 7 at the 11th, that was a triple bogey, so knock out half a dozen holes and he'd have won the tournament. But if St Anne's were pots and pans, back to 16.
Well, this is perhaps the championship right here. This to save par at 16. Remember, Appleby in closer for a birdie.
Well, he can't believe it. The fist was there, ready to start shaking to stir him on.
I think if we ever saw that one again, it almost was in the hole and then took a definite kink to the left.
He cannot believe it, that it's now left him 2 behind Stuart Appleby.
Jack, are you absolutely certain he was closer, that he was further away than Appleby? Because I thought I saw Appleby's marker. It was almost as though he'd elected to go on.
Well, I stand corrected, but I think it was his putt.
I think you're right looking at that. It's really got closer than I thought. Wonderful feeling. Even if he 2 putts, he goes a stroke further ahead. If he can roll this in, and he knows there's a little bit of movement from right to left, right at the cup. But Laycock has really opened the door with 15 and 16.
This is the putt that could shut the gate. It could shut the gate. Appleby is heading for home now as he leads by 3. He's got it to 13 under par. Ahead to 18, James Netties.
Just 119 metres for James Nitty's approach shot to the 18. Started a little bit out to the right. Looks to be heading to the heart of the green. Yeah, safely on. Safely on. He has a birdie chance here at the last.
Pampling now. Another very good tee shot.
Oh, this is all over it. All over the stick. Get in. This is all over it.
And it has got... Oh, tell you what, it jammed in the side of the hole and hopped on. Without the pin in there, it might have gone in.
Well, you wanted a big finish, and you've got it here on 7 in the Holden Australian Open. Stuart Appleby is heading towards his first national title. Man leading the way is on 17, Stuart Appleby.
Oh, this looks perfect again. Down the right half of the fairway. And we'll get the kick down the hill. Now comes decision time. Remember, he laid up with a little late iron yesterday. What's he going to do this afternoon with a 3-shot lead?
Yes, he's not played this hole well, and it's certainly not inconceivable that Laycock could make 4 and Appleby 6. Not that I wish that would happen, but it's been happening here all week. Scott Laycock, of course, not as long from the tee. He didn't leave anything of that on the tee. He's fairly given that everything he had, and it just clears that tongue of rough, which eats out into the right side of the fairway, but it's not going to get all the way down the bottom.
We'll go to the 18th green, James Nitties. This to win the amateur prize.
Yeah.
Well, he's been under the... He probably wouldn't know what Chris Campbell put in a score that was some 2 hours ago of 3 over for the championship. It wouldn't have been on the leaders board. But he's battled away after taking 7 at the 10th. Showed a lot of character to get it round in 74, and a young man, yet another one, Jack, with a great future in front of him.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and he's got terrific work ethics, works very hard on his game, loves playing golf. Pampling for birdie at the final hole, and he's got it. .67 for Pampling. That's a fine score and a very good open for Rod Pampling.
The green is clear. Else, who's finishing best of all. Too little, too late.
Well, Ernie into 18 with 8 iron. He's really come home with a win on a big, huge sail and pulled it way left. Crowd have loved Ernie here today. He's just shown us what golf he can really play these last few holes.
Hasn't stopped rolling yet. It has now. It's all right.
I might gallop up there and put a coin underneath it while it's stationary. Disappointing. He's played quite beautifully the last. He couldn't get a putt in the first 12 or 13 holes. Ogilvy in a little bit of trouble here. Ball above the feet, massive lip in front of him, but he's going for it.
Tough shot, Bruce. He really needs 9 iron to clear the lip. And he hasn't cleared the lip in part of it. A little bit too game. Grant Dodd did the same thing in that trap yesterday and had a bit of trouble with his 18th. Well, that's certainly a better effort, but that's also heading left. Thanks, Gary. Thanks.
There's a look at there's Ernie Else's ball in the middle of the screen. But the
Shot from the green, looking back up. There's the tree that Lindsay's talking about.
Lindsay, are we certain he's going for this, or might not this be a layup?
No, he's definitely going. Don't worry about that.
What's the distance?
He's got 200 metres to go.
Oh, well then
It's
certainly.
in go zone, but he's got a downhill lie. Tricky shot. But he's played great golf today. Got it going at the tree. Has to get lucky. And it has. Oh, gee, I don't know where this might have gone in the water. Wow, must have just caught the tree. Look, I missed it.
No, it's not in the water.
Just
There it is, short of the water. There's the shot that he's got left. Not an easy one. Downhill to, uphill to an elevated green, out of the rough, with a pin cut right on the front of the green. It's like trying to stop it down Highway 1, really. Appleby much further down, an easier shot. And he hits the ball higher than what his playing partner Scott Laycock does anyway.
Well, there's no decision time here, Jack, because he's got 178. He can get it home. You don't mess with the pin. The pin's only on 8 metres. He's got about 120 to the water, but that won't be a factor. I mean, he's nailed this drive beautifully. 301 metres. He's on the right half of the fairway, so he can get a view of the flag. Just got the signal. He's got 6 iron, 178 metres. This could be the shot that wins the Australian Open. He's got it way over the top of the tree and right at the flag. They love it back here.
Every reason so to do a beautiful shot. What he really had to do was get it over the river. And he's done, but there's still a few evil places to go until he gets to the 18th green. You don't count your chickens.
Let's have another look at that shot of Stuart Appleby's, Pat said, over the top of the big gum. Just right at the stick. Finishing up on that upper level, but I don't think he'd mind that at all. He and Joey just having a little smile to themselves as they struck down the 17th fairway with a 3-shot lead.
And all of a sudden, it will seem a little more like a very pleasant stroll, especially when he comes to 18 and he's not far away. In the box seat on 17, leading by 3, and not far from his first national title. The closing stages of the Holden Australian Open. It's come down to 2 gentlemen, but it's Stuart Appleby who's snuck ahead of this man, Scott Laycock.
Roll back. Roll back.
Wants a roll back. You can hear him crying for it. He needs something if he's going to stay in this fight. Not the roll that he had in mind.
Up ahead at the 18th, Else, just on the edge of the green in 2. And finishing, putting much better at the end. It's been a fine comeback, but he had to wait 12 holes before he notched his first birdie. And then he had 3 more and an eagle. And in the end, 67 led the tournament after round 1, but really didn't quite hold enough putts when it really mattered. Good tournament for him, though.
Playing with him, Jeff Ogilvy. Disappointing finish for him today. That is a round of 71 for Jeff. 71-65, 74-71. He finishes at -3.
Jeff Ogilvy. It's a bit of course management work to do, I think. This must go in.
And since his race is run, I think when he didn't get down in 2 out of the bunker at 15 and let Appleby ahead. But I thought the important hole for Appleby, incidentally, was the short 14th, when he holed a 7 or 8 footer to stay level after Laycock had got a 2 there, and just hung on. Since then, it's been so.
There's been a couple of eagles here. He'll come from his right and quick. take him to 7 under, and of course if he gets a 4 at the last, that'll be a new course record of 64. Par here 71.
So Stuart heads towards the 18th with Scott Laycock, and then he'll have that wonderful walk up the 72nd hole. But we should have a look at what lies ahead, because it is, Jack, a strong finishing hole. Grand.
Yeah, well, the first thing to recognise, it's 389 metres, so it's not a short hole by any stretch of the imagination. You drive over the crest of the hill here, and then there's 2 bunkers on the left. The first one, 213, the second one, 239. You really want to be up to the right. We've made those bunkers on the left what we consider the no-go zone. So, again, the tilt on the fairway from right to left. So right half of the fairway is a perfect line, and then an uphill second shot to a very well bunkered green. 2 big traps right and left, and then the longish one there that's short, and a swale cut in front of the hole here, which if you come up short, your golf ball runs down the Grand's Valley of Sin, if you like, into the rough. 21 metres long, big slope from back to front on this green, and the pin today at 18, 13 metres on and 8 from the left. Perhaps playing a little easier, well, they all have today, I think a bit easier than they have in previous days, because there's just been hardly any breeze at all. 12 birdies and 33 pars.
That they've put into this event, and this is the sort of result they would have wanted. Just one good tee shot, that's all he needs. Finish it off today.
Lost it right, Pat.
And it's heading out right.
In amongst the crowd. Did he get a fortuitous bounce?
Across from the left, Sean.
And we've just had some information out on the course that he's quite all right.
Now, Scotty Laycock, who can really hold his head high. He's played beautiful golf today. Just beaten by a guy that's just played it a little bit better, and he's hit this up the left side, hard, hugging left side, fading back into the fairway. Another good drive. Very good.
And on both sides of the fairway as they await the shots, the second shots of Appleby and Laycock. Stuart Appleby, the pressure valve released, knowing that he can play this shot and take a stroll, Jack, that he'll remember for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's a wonderful feeling. It's all the hard work that you put in comes rushing back to you. There's the shot that he's got, just skirting the left of the big trees, and then to a pin that's certainly not easy to get at. But he's quite a long way back, so he'll be going in with a much straighter face club than I think he anticipated. 165. A little bit on the upslope, so that'll help shoot the ball up in the air.
Yeah, he's just discussing here, Jack. It's nice to have a 4-shot cushion. We were looking the way his body language told us from that drive that it was hitting a little bit further right than this, but once I got up amongst the crowd, it had stopped just on the first cut of rough, so he's lying quite nicely. As you said, just a slight upslope. Only trouble here is the water right, but that shouldn't be in the equation. Yes, it'll be a big week for the big A's, won't it? Robert Allaby last week, his big mate, and this is right at it again. Settle down, woo there. Well, it just wouldn't take the bite. They've been taking the bite on these greens most of the afternoon.
Today, so he's got 7-9 here from 138. Like to see him finish with a good one. It's been a great tournament. Card going a little bit left, but it should be okay for length. A little short. Oh, spin back.
Now tell the story. Not only a great effort by Stuart Appleby, Jack, but a very gutsy effort by Scott Laycock.
Oh, look, that golf they were playing there earlier in the day was just phenomenal golf, considering it's the last round of an Australian Open. And I think Lindsay's quite right. I think that Scott Laycock can hold his head high. He's really gone to the next level. And from Stuart Appleby's point of view, as a young bloke in Kahuna, he would have been dreaming about winning this championship and walking up that slope to the 18th green. He wouldn't be a human being if the hairs on the back of his neck weren't standing up. We putt out, as is traditional. Uphill left to right, breaking putt for a birdie for Scott Laycock. And he smashed it past the hole. Will it roll back? Don't think so.
You may need those 3 putts, that extra couple of shots in front of Els. No, it was
on the front if he goes at the flag, so he's just going to knock it out here to the right, to the fat part of the green, up on that same tier as the pin. Cleverly thought out. I agree with you, Bruce. I thought the turning point was at 14, where Scott Laycock didn't get that ball out of the bunker, up and down, I mean, and also at 16, where Stuart Appleby surely didn't intend to pull his iron shot to the left, almost stayed in the fringe and rolled back to a couple of metres where he made 2, and Scott Laycock took 3 to get down. Surely they were the 2 crucial turning points of this round. And as to the decision as who would be the 2001 Holden Australian Open champion. Fantastic.
Let's tease them right to the end.
Now, Jack, do you mark that? or do you knock it in, because you always like to hit the final blow?
Well, he should mark it.
Yes, the other
Scott Laycock's still got 2 putts to lock up second place, but if Appleby were to knock his in, there'd be people running about and carrying on. Scott Laycock's still got this in now.
Well done. What a great week for Scotty Laycock. He won a Victorian Open title earlier this year. He's had a marvellous year in Japan. He's going to run second in the Holden Australian Open. A round of 68. And Stuart Appleby is our champion. What a mighty performance after opening with a round of 69, 70, 67, and the icing on the cake was a 65 today.
Well, now just the formalities remain. Into the recorder's hut, check through the score. You're responsible ultimately for your own score, even though your colleague has marked the paper. Brett Ogle there congratulating him. Brett, who had a pretty good first couple of days here. In there, they'll shut the door in all probability. He can check the score, because it's still possible to get it wrong. And if you mark for a score less than you've actually taken, which is highly unlikely, you're out the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, it's part of the formalities of the game that can never be overlooked. And Simon from the AGA, they're just holding the Stonehaven Cup. They will, of course, get a replica of that. And full credit to both of these guys that played the game the way it ought to be played. Tough, but in good spirit.
Yeah, it's nice to see a day in the end when the wind dropped a little bit, the overnight rain softened the course just a fraction, and we actually had a very fair day's golf and some marvellous golf to go with it.
Joey's caddy, more than pleased. On the fact that it was a difficult day's golf, and he managed to get round there with bogey free.
Well, I think it's almost time for the presentation. Let's join Sandy Roberts.
Thank you, Renton. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the man who shot 65 in his final round and he's won his first national title, Stuart Appleby. Magnificent achievement. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll now call upon the captain of the Grand to come forward and say a few words, and I'm very sure that you'll make him welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Gross.
Thanks, John.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the members and all the dedicated staff at the Grand, we welcome, and we hope you've had a great week. I've got to keep this short and sweet. I'd just like to say to the AGU, it's been a long time between drinks in Queensland. We hope it won't be 28 years before it comes back.
Thank you, John. John Goss, and of course, once again, the sponsors of an event like this have been absolutely fantastic, and it has been the red and white of Holden that has again come to the fore. I know that Peter Hannenberger and the Australian Open are very, very close, and I'll ask you to make him welcome, the Chairman and Managing Director of Holden, Peter Hannenberger. Thanks, Peter.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Holden, I would like to congratulate you, everybody involved here today, for what has been another fantastic tournament. The Holden Australian Open for 2001 has certainly lived up to its reputation as Australia's premier golf event. I take this opportunity to thank all the golfers for their outstanding play over the last 4 days, and also to the Queensland golf fans who have attended. And finally, to all those who have worked behind the scene. Your efforts and dedication has ensured another very successful Holden Australian Open. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Credit also, ladies and gentlemen, must go to the Australian Golf Union, and I'll call upon their president to come forward and say a few words. Make him welcome, Mr. John Westacott. Thank you, John.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Australian Golf Union, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to Holden for the continued support of the Holden Australian Open. This is their 6th year Holden have been the naming rights sponsors, and the 8th year they have been involved with the championship. Holden and Golf have been a great partnership, and the AGU looks forward to continuing with Holden for many years to come. We would also like to thank and acknowledge all our other sponsors. To the Grand Golf Club, congratulations on hosting such a wonderful Open. The course and the conditions have been exceptional, and this has proved a magnificent venue. A special thanks to the course superintendent, Rod Cook, and his staff for presenting the course in such a great condition. I would also like to acknowledge Channel 7's coverage. Surely this has to be one of the most outstanding events telecast in the world. To all the IMG team, well done on a great effort in staging the championships, and a very special thanks to all the volunteers, so well coordinated by Barry Neal. Without your tremendous efforts, this championship could not have taken place. Queensland, beautiful and perfect, they say. The AGU is delighted to bring out the national championships back to the Sunshine Coast, the first time since 1973. The Gold Coast, where we are. To all the players, a very special thanks for your continuing support of the Australian Open. The ATU appreciates your efforts and will continue to work hard to ensure the Holden Australian Open is one of the world's great championships. You can expect to see another successful Open at Victoria Golf Club next year. Finally, to our winner, our Victorian Stuart Appleby, congratulations on winning the greatest prize in Australian golf.
John, stay with us, and I'll ask Peter to come forward too. Some of the greatest names in golf are inscribed on the Stonehaven Cup. Now another name will go onto that cup, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is Stuart Appleby.
Great, Paul. Thanks, mate. Thank you. Very well done.
Stuart, congratulations. Look, everyone here just wants to say to both you and Scotty Laycock, first of all, congratulations on a darn great dogfight. Fantastic. A wonderful afternoon's golf.
First of all, I'd just like to thank Scott. He had me nervous all day. He was pushing me all day. I guess it was a bit of a match play format for us fighting it out. And I haven't been in a situation like this for quite a long time. Been in feeling the nerves, feeling like you just couldn't breathe. It was really hard work, and I'm very thankful to a lot of people for getting me to this, getting me here. Certainly my coach Banny and my trainer Vern have been great. Mum and Dad, obviously I got the whole clan from down south in Victoria. We've jumped north across a few borders to get here, and I must thank Holden obviously for really supplying a lot of good product to the tournaments that when I come back to Oz, and AGU for putting on a good event. The Grand did a great job, got the course in great shape, and it really turned out to be a good spectacle. And obviously people in the red shirts, red hats did an unbelievable job. Thank you very much, Queenslanders. It's good to see you guys out in force again, and well done to Channel 7.
Your first national title, just before you go, Stewie, your first national title, probably have a spell, but it's a great springboard for next year for you.
I guess I'd had a bit of a soft year, I felt, by normal, what I'd like to have been playing. Not a bad year, but I learned a lot about my game. I learned I was trying to push a little bit too hard and trying to get the ball in the hole, and at times that just is the worst thing you can do. So to come here at the end of the year, come back to Australia, I've been away for 10 months, and obviously since September 11, all the Australians overseas really wanted to be home. And now more than ever, I feel pretty proud to be an Aussie, greatest country in the world. And we are just so lucky.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it once again for our 2001 champion, Stuart Appleby.
Stuart Appleby, he is a great player and represents us extremely well around the world. So in the end, we got a good winner.
We got a good winner, and everybody up here in Queensland thoroughly enjoyed the championship being back in this part of Australia. That's it from the 7 Network here today. But remember, early tomorrow morning on 7, there's that World Cup qualifier, Uruguay against Australia at Montevideo. Can the Australians get that 32nd place in the World Soccer Cup? Everybody hoping that they can. Meanwhile, from Queensland, from all of us here, goodbye.